Hi guys, good morning, how is everyone? I'm glad we have met again. I'm Aquasefas. If today is your first time here, kindly subscribe. Today's topic is about Emmett Lewis Till. Emmett Lewis Till was a 14-year-old African-American who was killed in Mississippi in 1955 after being accused of offending a white woman in her family's grocery store. The brutality of his murder and the fact that his killers were acquitted drew attention to the long history of violent persecution of African Americans in the States. Lewis posthumously became an icon of the civil rights movement. Lewis was born in Chicago, Illinois. During summer vacation in 1955, he was visiting relatives near Money, in the Mississippi Delta region. He spoke to 21-year-old Carolyn Bryant, the white married proprietor of a small grocery store there. Although what happened at the store is a matter of dispute, Till was accused of flirting with, or whistling at Bryant. In 1955, Bryant had testified that Till made physical advances. The jury did not hear Bryant's testimony, due to the ruling it inadmissible. Decades later, Bryant disclosed that she had fabricated part of the testimony regarding her interception with Lewis, specifically the portion where she accused Lewis of grabbing her waist and uttering obscenities. That part's not true, Bryant stated in a 2008 interview with historian Timothy Tyson. Lewis' interaction with Bryant, perhaps unwittingly if at all, violated the strictures of conduct of an African-American male interacting with a white woman in the Jim Crow-era South. Several nights after the incidents in the store, Bryant's husband and his half-brother J. W. Millam were armed when they went to Till's great-uncle's house and abducted the boy. They took him away and beat and mutilated him before shooting him in the head and sinking his body in the Tallahatchie River. Few days later, Lewis' body was found and retrieved from the river. Till's body was returned to Chicago, where his mother insisted on a public funeral rite with an open casket. The open coffin funeral held by Mamie Till Bradley exposed the world to more than her son Emmett Lewis' bloated, mutilated body. Her decision focused attention not only on U.S. racism and barbarism of lynching, but also on the limitations and vulnerabilities of American democracy. Tens of thousands attended his funeral or viewed his open casket, and images of his mutilated body were published in black-oriented magazines and newspapers, rallying popular black support and white sympathy across the U.S. Intense scrutiny was brought bare on the lack of black civil rights in Mississippi, with newspapers around the U.S. critical of the state. All the local newspapers and law enforcement officials decried the violence against Lewis and called for justice. They responded to national criticism by defending Mississippians, temporarily giving support to the killers. On September 1955, an all-white jury found Bryant and Millam not guilty of Lewis' kidnapping and murder. Protected against double jeopardy, the two men publicly admitted in a 1956 interview with Look magazine that they killed Lewis. Till's murder was seen as a catalyst for the next phase of the civil rights movement. In December 1955, the Montgomery bus boycott began in Alabama and lasted more than a year, resulting eventually in a U.S. Supreme Court ruling that segregated buses were unconstitutional. According to historians, events surrounding Emmett Lewis' life and death continue to resonate. Some writers have suggested that almost every story about Mississippi returned to Lewis Till, or the Delta region in which he died, in some spiritual, homing way. An Emmett Till's Memorial Commission was established in the early 21st century. The Summer Country Courthouse was restored and includes the Emmett Lewis Till Interpretive Center. 51 sites in the Mississippi Delta are memorialized as associated with Emmett Lewis Till. If you enjoyed this episode, kindly let me know in the comments section below. Please don't forget to subscribe.